Please watch this video until the end. The final moment is the only thing that explains why the city never felt the same again. Chapter 1: The Smell Below. I learned to read a city the way some men learn to read faces, by the small tells and the habits that betray it. I'm Marcus Hale, a mediocre news photographer with a stubborn habit of staying late. That night I followed a lead. A complaint about water backing into an old bakery in the East Quarter, and it led me to a hissing manhole cover and a smell like old money and dead fish. We called the municipal water plant 3 times and waited for someone to tell us the obvious. Sewers back up. But the smell refused to be ordinary. It was heavy, layered. Animal musk knotted with rot and something metallic. Below the manhole, the city thrummed with traffic, with life unknowingly perched over a waiting mouth. I should have gone home. Instead, I lowered my camera and flashlight and watched condensation run in slow ribbons along the iron ladder. My light caught a pattern on the grit-strewn brick. Scales, pale and stretched like a fossil under new rain. For a long second, I convinced myself I'd misread light on sediment. Then I heard a scraping, slow, deliberate, as if something very old were testing a new wall. Chapter 2: First Night. The first full reveal came not by sight, but by news. A delivery driver found a child's shoe snagged in the grate of a canal and teeth marks on the iron like someone had chewed through the city's appetite. People joked nervously. We told ourselves the city was full of predators. Rats, raccoons, the occasional bold coyote. We did not tell ourselves about a shadow with the memory of a prehistoric mouth. Elena, an urban ecologist I'd met covering a park initiative, joined me the next night. She had a way of speaking about ecosystems like a grieving mother, cataloging what belonged and what did not. We traced a pattern of missing pets, broken pipes, and drains that hummed with pressure even when the mains were shut down. Someone had installed old-world habits into our modern plumbing. Resting places, dens where the concrete met earth and hunger could be patient. Our first sighting was a silhouette sliding into the water from beneath a derelict promenade. All I saw through the lens was length, a spine that rode the current. Then something turned, an eye like a coin catching my flash. It held for a heartbeat, then vanished. Elena pressed her hand against my arm. I heard her breathe the way someone reads a poem aloud. Slow, reverent, and terrified. Chapter 3 of Teeth and Tracks. We called in favors. A retired marine biologist who taught at the local college, Dr. Samuel Crane, came down into the tunnels with a clipboard and a light that smelled of salt. He spoke too quickly, as experts often do when nervous. "This isn't anything living in the past 50 years, he said. "This is ancestral." He measured the distance between tooth marks and the width of tail gouges and made calculations that meant nothing to me, except that his hands shook. We mapped. We laid bait. Wool rims, heavy chains, a carcass of a deer stolen from a trapper's compound. We tried cameras but found only the afterimage. Disturbances in mud, a warmer patch in the stone. Each clue stacked into a theory that hurt my mouth to say, not only large but intelligent in its avoidance. It knew our patterns, it learned to wait. One morning, a headline shredded our optimism. 2 joggers were found dragged from the river. Their screams had been muffled by the water, their footprints leading into the dark. The city called it a tragedy, an accident. I called it a mouth with a memory. At the morgue, the forensic pathologist refused to speak. Her coffee went cold on the table. "It's like nothing I've cataloged," she said. "Old bite, new cruelty." Chapter 4: The Trap. We set a trap because fear, when caged, becomes action. Elena secured a permit we could have probably done without and planted a bait. An engine block wrapped in meat, from a dredging yard at the heart of the old basin. We wired lights and speakers, a crude mimic of the city's noise, hoping to provoke curiosity into a mistake. I spent the hour before dusk watching a monitor in a van that smelled of ozone and old sandwiches. The city above tinkled and leaked light. Below, lanes of water swallowed our signal. Then the feed corrupted for a half-minute. Just lines of static and a sound like 1,000 pages being turned quickly. And the camera blinked back into life to reveal a tail that could have been a fallen telephone pole. It struck like a hammer, demolishing the bait. The crane's lamp swung madly as Elena cursed. It didn't hurry. It played. The creature toyed with our chains, feeling for a weakness with the patience of geological time. Then it heard us. My laugh, a bright stupid thing, and the game changed. The eyes turned upward, furious, and the water surged like a driven wall. Chapter 5, The Night of Shouts. It learned names. I know that sounds absurd. How could a beast from a world of swamps and primordial suns come to know the syllables we used? But it recognized our movements, the rhythm of my camera, the staccato clipping of Elena's boots. When officers came with floodlights and riot shields, it slipped between shadows as though it had rehearsed their arrival. The real horror was not the kills. The horror was the way the city responded. Lights coaxed into staying on all night, fathers carrying children to different rooms, a website that promised reassurance and provided none. The creature began to stage its appearances closer to home. A park fountain became an ambush. Deliveries stalled in cul-de-sacs because the drains smelled of it. We chased it through alleys and under bridges until the bridges themselves seemed to rise to protect the animal, an alliance of concrete and predator. On the night the river ran black, we cornered it under an old railway bridge. It was larger than any measure we had given it, scales folded like armor, a line of spikes down a back that looked carved. It hissed, a sound like steam and old bones, and in the glare of our lamps it looked almost innocent, as if you could read its age in the rings of its skin. It struck and took Sergeant Reyes with a speed that denied comprehension. The river drank him whole. We fired shots that did nothing but singe air. We backed away with the smell of iron in our nostrils and a new knowledge that the city had become smaller. Chapter 6, Aftermath and the Quiet Last Thing. They called in heavy equipment, men in suits, people who used words like containment and relocation. They dredged the basins and poured concrete like prayers. They offered a bounty, then a silence. The city closed a handful of drains and boasted to itself about victory. Life went back to its small betrayals. A cafe that reopened, a child who learned how to ride a bike without training wheels. But the thing about monsters that learn is that they are patient. In the weeks after they declared the danger mitigated, Elena stopped answering my calls. She emailed once. A photograph of the water at dawn, flat as glass. In the corner, a single pattern rippled, a scale, caught in the reflection of a street lamp. The caption said nothing. On a raw Tuesday, months later, I found a note pinned to the bulletin board in the subway. Watch the drains. Whoever had written it did not sign their name. Below it, someone had left a child's rubber crocodile, its paint worn away. I took it home. Sometimes at night, when the city sleeps with 1,000 small sighs, I hear a sound, like the distant clack of scales against concrete. Could be a truck, could be the tide. There is a comfort in thinking monsters belong to an old time, to swamps and sunken continents. But the city is made from the bones of other places. It is full of forgotten corridors. The thing we woke in the pipes was only doing what creatures do. It found a place to survive and learned the easiest method forever after. If you live above a drain, you keep a light on and you sleep with a locked door. I tell this not to frighten you without cause, but because I still work nights. I still follow small stories until they become large. I still look into manholes with a flashlight like a rosary. If you listen closely, you can hear the hollow sound of something very patient, waiting for the city to forget what it was taught. And if you think the pipes are safe because a headline said so, remember how the river took a man named Reyes beneath a bridge and how a city pretended it was only a storm. If you enjoyed the story, please subscribe to the channel, activate notifications, give the video a like, leave a comment with your favorite chapter or thought, and share the video so others can listen to The Night Beneath the City.